this series, you guys have got off to, pretty fast starts, 8-0, 10-2, thereabouts. And then the Clippers kind of, in Ty Lue's words, it's become an aggressor versus counterpuncher kind of thing. How is it? I guess the question is, how do you guys kind of adjust to being able to try to, keep those initial flurries extended a bit?
Well, I think as much as anything, it comes down to our defense. Where we are right now with Donovan playing the point and, carrying both a scoring load and a playmaking load, because he's getting blitzed and pick and roll. They're trapping him off the ball. It becomes even more important. That's why I mentioned spacing so much the other night. But I think it becomes even more important to your point that, that we get stops and we can get out, in the open floor and generate some offensive opportunities that way. So, whether you're going on a run or trying to prevent a run, the defensive end, becomes really, really, the key thing. And, when we're going to give some things up, I think we can be better just being conscious of personnel and being better individually defensively. And I didn't think we were as connected, and as urgent in some of our rotations. And unless we want to let Rudy just guard someone out, at the 3-point line for the whole possession, we're going to be in some rotations. And, that's not ideal against a team that shoots the ball as well as they do. So we have to do a better job in those situations, and then be able to rebound the ball. I think when there's threes taken too, some of those long rebounds we need to come up with, because, they can lead to baskets in transition, which, takes pressure off Donovan, and gives us opportunities to get cleaner looks, because, it's easier for George Yang or Joe or anyone to bring the ball up on a miss than it is to, initiate offense in the half court.
Cam Buford, LA News Observer.
Good afternoon, Quinn. My question for you is about Donovan Mitchell. You're using him, as you just mentioned, as a scorer and the control and to bring the ball up. Are you fearful that wears him out, or you're just a young guy, you just want to let him rip and run?
Well, I'm not going to have Rudy bring it up right now. So he's with Mike out, Donovan can make plays for other people. He obviously can make plays for himself. We're asking him to do a lot right now. And when he's getting trapped and blitzed, and he's forced to get off the ball, other guys on our team, have an opportunity to space and make plays. And, that's important. I'm confident in our group in doing that. But in Donovan's case, he's been able to do all those things as far as scoring mid-range, getting to the rim, making threes, passing the ball. I think this is unique because, as you said, that, he's carrying a load right now. And we have some other guys that obviously, are capable of doing the same thing. But as far as initiating the offense, that responsibility falls to Donovan primarily, and obviously Joe at times as well. So, I don't, do I worry? I'd like for us to, be efficient, and Donovan's the guy that can help us do that. And so is Joe, and so is Boyan. And there's other guys that I think we just have to really play as a group and a team, so that, that responsibility gets, spread amongst their team. So as much as, being concerned, I think we have to play a certain way in order to be successful. And that means if really we can get stops, as I said before, that, it's easier for us to attack, in the open floor.
Thanks, Coach.
Andy Larson, Salt Lake Tribune.
When you often attribute good offense to good spacing and or at least in part, and kind of iffy offense to bad spacing or iffy spacing. And I'm curious if you were talking to a fan or someone watching the game, what would someone look out for when looking for good spacing when watching the Jazz?
Well, if we look at Donovan's situation, if they're trapping him in pick and roll, he has to have outlets, which means, whoever's in front of him needs to surface in order to create a passing lane. The person behind him needs to pull behind. And then from that point, the initial pass out, that they're so long and athletic that oftentimes, it's the next guy that has to be spaced as well, because they're capable of rotating or, faking at the ball and getting back to their own. So, the better space we are, the better opportunity we have, not only to get open shots, but oftentimes you're not going to get the first shot out. And it's about driving the ball, and getting on the rim. And that's really, then it gets into the same thing. When they collapse, we've got to be able to, guys got to be ready to kick the ball out. So for us, it's kind of a constant process. And the easiest thing to see, obviously, is, in those situations where they're trapping, but, equally true in transition, where we can stretch the floor, whether that means Rudy running to the rim, guys getting to the corners, all those things that give us an opportunity to, move the ball and get our shots.
Last question will be Mark Medina, USA Today.
Hi, Quinn. Good to see you. I
Mark.
was wondering, what is the medical staff indicated to you on what progress Mike's made, and what are the steps that he still needs to take before he can rejoin you guys?
Well, I think that, he's making progress, as far as the, exact, position of where he is in that process. That is a day-to-day thing. And that's not, I don't comment on, the status of any individual player, any individual injury. I think that all I can say is, we all know he wants to be back there quickly, and that's the place that we're working towards. And, obviously all the guys on the team, want him back, and we know, how he impacts our team. When you're playing without your point guard, it impacts everybody. But that's also something that, our guys have, dealt with, and it's a challenge to take on, and it's a next man up mentality. And, we have confidence in our group as well. So, we'll keep doing what we're doing, keep competing, and hopefully Mike can get back and help us there.